Well, hello, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, is today our meeting?
You guys ready? Yes. I'd like to call the meeting of the Planning Commission to order at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Planning Commission Secretary, may we have a roll call, please?
Sure can. Commissioner Flores,
Present.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Present.
Commissioner Ayala,
Present.
Vice Chair Jimenez,
Present.
Chair Sarno,
Here.
all present.
Please stand. I would like to call upon Planning Commission Flores to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir. Ex parte communication. This section is intended to allow the officials the opportunity to reveal any disclosures regarding site visits or ex parte communications about public hearings. Are there any ex parte communications?
None.
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 None?
And none for myself. Next, public comments. At this time, the general public may address the Planning Commission on both non-agenda and non-public hearing agenda items. Comments relating to the public hearing items will be heard during the public hearing. Please be aware that the maximum time allowed for members of the public to speak shall not exceed 3 minutes per speaker. State law prohibits the Planning Commission from taking action or entering extending discussion on a topic not listed on the agenda. Please show the courtesy to others and direct of all your comments to the chairperson. Planning Commission Secretary, do we have any members of the public wishing to speak?
None present.
Okay. I will now close public hearing, move on to the next item. Consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine. Any consent items Planning Commission wishes to discuss should be designated at this time. All other items may be approved in a single motion. I would like to pull item number 4 for consent items 1, 2, and 3. And is there a motion and a second for the approval of these consent items?
All motion?
We have a motion and a second. Planning Commission Secretary, roll call, please.
Commissioner Flores,
Aye.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Ayala,
Aye.
Vice Chair Jimenez,
Aye.
Chair Sarno,
Aye,
pass 5-0.
so ordered. There is a 14-day appeal period for anyone wishing to appeal these matters. Next, I will be recusing myself from participating in the discussion or vote on item number 4. The property is within 500-foot radius of my business. At this time, I will exit the chamber and will pass the gavel to Vice Chair Jimenez to conduct the meeting. There you go, sir.
Great, thank you.
See you guys later.
Thank you, Chair Sarno. I will now take over the meeting for the discussion of consent item number 4, a request for a time extension of development plan approval case number 1003 to allow the construction of a new 57,489 square foot concrete tilt-up industrial building located at 13007 Telegraph Road within the M2 heavy manufacturing zone. Are there any questions from the commissioners before we proceed to vote? Okay. Okay, that being said, could I get a motion and a second for consent item number 4, please?
All motion.
I'll second. We got a motion and a second. Planning Commission Secretary, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Flores,
Aye.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Ayala,
Aye.
Vice Chair Jimenez,
Aye.
passes 4-0.
So ordered. There is a 14-day appeal period for anyone wishing to appeal these matters. With that, I will now return the gavel to Chair Sarno.
Next, thank you, Vice Chair Jimenez, and thank you for the commissioners for your participation. I will now resume as chair, and as we move on to the next agenda. Public hearing, we will now begin with item number 5 on the agenda. At this time, I will open up public hearing at 6:05 PM. I will now call upon Assistant Planner Alejandro de Lola to introduce this item.
Good evening, Plant Commissioners. Hope you enjoyed the sun on your way in today. So I will be presenting on public hearing item number 5, and this is for development plan approval, DPA case number 1013, to construct 8 new 53 tall metal tanks for the storage of liquid argon, and for modification permit mod case number 1366 to allow partial screening of the proposed tanks at 8832 Dice Road, and for determination of the CEQA exemption. So first, the location. This site is located at 8832 Dice Road, and it has a land use designation of industrial. It is zoned for M2 heavy manufacturing, and the applicant is Airgas USA. The request is for the development plan approval case number, which would be for the construction of the 8 new metal tanks for the storage of liquid argon, and for the modification permit, which would be to partially screen the metal tanks. A little bit of background on the previous entitlements. CUP case number 485 was approved for the continued operation of the compressed gas repackaging facility, which is the current use of the liquid and gas supplier. And DPA case number 594 was previously approved for a 3,400 square foot addition to an existing 4,000 square foot building. The proposed project does not violate or affect or interfere with those existing entitlements for the site. A little bit of background on the business and argon storage in general. Airgas has operated at their current location for over 50 years, and they are a supplier of industrial oxygen, nitrogen, argon, hydrogen, and helium. And they've actually been part of the city before the site was annexed into our city as well. And a little bit on argon. So the main reason for the request is for the storage capacity in case of a supply chain issue. So argon is mostly produced in the Gulf Coast, and it's mainly transported through rail. And the reason that they want to do this is so that they could have a local storage available in case there is a type of supply chain issue. And it is largely an essential gas. It is naturally occurring, it's non-flammable and non-toxic, and it is an inert gas. So it actually just pulls oxygen from the air. And it is really key for a lot of industrial uses, specifically as a shielding gas, and that's for welding, especially with high temperature processes. So that's anything from light bulb manufacturing, microchipping, battery production. A lot of tech requires this type of gas as part of their approvals within their facility. Oh, went too far. So the DPA, again, is specifically for the metal tanks that would be used for the storage of the liquid argon. The tanks would be placed approximately 400 feet away from Dice Road and approximately 600 feet away from Sorensen Avenue. And this location was selected because it allows for compliance with the existing fire access lanes that they have on site. It also preserves all of the required parking spaces that they have, and it also gives some reduction of the visual impact from both Dice Road and Sorensen, since it's kind of a through lot. And it also has an optimized proximity to the existing rail line as well, which you can see over on the site plan. So the red on the left of the screen is that distance from Dice Road, again, approximately 400 feet. And from Sorensen, it's approximately 600 feet. So it just kind of just divot right off of the existing rail spur that they have on the property. As for the mod is because the applicant is unable to fully screen the tanks because of their height and the location of where they are. So because of that, since they can't effectively screen it, they are proposing this modification. So there is some landscaping that is along Dice Road that's already been there from previous approvals, and that does alleviate some of the visual impact of the tanks. They will also be painted white for a couple reasons. One is that it is a neutral tone, and it also helps ensure that the liquid argon remains cool, since it is a high refrigerated liquid. So this kind of helps prevent it overheating and gives it some of the reflection off of the sun. As for some photo sims, so this would be the view from Dice Road. This angle is specifically shot kind of to show where the low point is. So as you can see on the left side with the existing, to the right side with the proposed tanks, they're pretty far deep into the lot. We're not expecting a big impression to be seen from Dice Road. It's also to note that there's no sidewalks on their side of Dice Road. You'd have to be on the opposite side of the street or driving through the industrial area. Same thing on Sorensen. So there's also no sidewalks on the abutting side of it. You would have to be on the opposite side to be seeing it if you're walking. And as you can see, it kind of blends with the general industrial nature. There's a lot of other existing tanks and buildings that are in the general area. As for the environmental review for CEQA, staff does recommend adopting a notice of exemption, and that would be specifically through the Class 3 new construction and conversion of small structures, as well as Class 11, which would be for accessory structures. And that's because the proposed project is ancillary to their existing use. So we believe that it is kind of a ancillary, secondary part of their business. As for the public hearing noticing, it was mailed to all the property owners within 500 feet, as well as posted in the Santa Fe Springs City Hall, City Library, and the Town Center kiosk. And on February 28th, it was published in the Los Cerritos Community Newspaper. And as of now, we have not received any comments regarding the project. Just kind of wrapping everything up with some key considerations. For the site suitability, they did make sure that these tanks were put in a location that does generally align with the industrial nature of the site. They are proposing a safe and functional design that makes sure that it has a minimal visual impact on the community, while also maintaining the necessary fire access requirements, as well as their operational efficiency. They did take into consideration the screening, but again, because of its location, it does lend itself to some challenges. But with that, they are doing the neutral white tone that not only helps to integrate it with the industrial site, but also to make sure that it meets the requirements of the liquid argon as well. And finally, it will have a minimal impact. Again, it is ancillary to the existing use that they have on site. So it's not expected to increase any congestion, no more additional traffic. There's no additional safety risk, and it's not expected to diminish property values in any way. So it does, again, reinforce the compatibility with the area. So finally, with that, staff does recommend to approve and adopt the notice of exemption for the site, to approve DPA case number 1013 and mod case number 1366, subject to the conditions as stated within the attached resolution, as well as adopt resolution number 282-2025, which incorporates the Planning Commission's findings and actions regarding this matter. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. We'll now move to commissioner questions and comments. Does any member of the commission have any questions or comments?
I do.
Joe?
On your, on photo, I think it was photo sims from Sorensen. Can you go back to that one?
Okay. Oh, went too far.
Can you go to the one that, that one right there? So this is just line of sight, right? Just being able to see those towers from the street?
Yeah.
What are these towers to the left? They're like, they look like they're a third taller than, what is that? Are those also storage
The
tanks?
smaller ones off to the,
No, to the left. They appear to be larger.
oh, the larger ones are
Next
not
to the
part of
palm
their,
trees.
those are not part of their facility.
Neighbors.
Yeah, that's their neighbors.
Yeah.
He's just asking, what are they?
Yeah.
Oh, it's also storage. Yeah, yeah.
So at some point, that other one got approved, right, for like the line? Okay, I was just, all right, thank you. I don't have any more questions.
I think on that street, there's a lot more, you have Fibertech across the street. You also have the next door neighbor to Airgas. They have 3 big tanks too. So this is a pretty common area where I think it's most suited for what they're gonna do, so I don't think, I don't have a problem with any of it.
A lot of chemical supply in general in that
Yeah.
site, yeah, or in that location.
Any other questions? No? Okay, well, we'll now open public comments for this item. Planning Commission Secretary, do we receive any speaking cards or written comments for this item?
None.
Okay. None. Also speaking. If there's no objection by members of the commission, I will close public comments for public hearing item number 5. And now it's time to deliberate with commissioners. No further commissioners' questions or comments. I will now close the public hearing at 6:15. May I have a motion to approve requested DPA case number 1013 and mod permit case 1366 and adopt resolution number 282-2025, which incorporates the Planning Commission findings and actions regarding this matter. May I have a first?
I'll move.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Planning Commission Secretary, can we please conduct a roll call?
Commissioner Flores,
Aye.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Ayala,
Aye.
Vice Chair Jimenez,
Aye.
Chair Sarna,
Aye.
passes 5-0.
So ordered. There is a 14-day appeal period. Anyone wishing to appeal this matter? We will now begin with item number 6 on the agenda at this time. I will open up public hearing at 6:16 p.m. I now call upon Associate Planner Jimmy Wong to introduce this item.
Good evening. Good evening, Commissioner. Item number 6 is conditional use permit, case number 852, to allow a new wireless telecommunication facility on an existing lattice tower and determination of CEQA exemption. So a little background on the location. The project is located at 8636 Sorensen Avenue. The general plan land use is industrial and zoning is M2, heavy manufacturing. The applicant is SmartLink on behalf of AT&T Wireless, and the current use for the property is a rail yard for Union Pacific. Here's a more zoom-in version. A location of the lattice tower is right in front of the street facing Sorensen. So the applicant, on behalf of AT&T, is proposing to install a new wireless telecommunication facility on an existing 84 feet, 2-inch Union Pacific-owned tower along the westerly property line. The installation will include a 10-foot height extension to the tower with associated equipment cabinet placed within the existing previous use carrier location. The proposed installation aims to enhance service quality and reliability for customer in the area. So here's the map. On the left side is the current existing 4G coverage. On the right side is the planned 4G coverage after the approved tower. So as you can see, the middle area is currently not covered as much. So with the new tower, it will cover the entire area in green. Here's the elevation. As mentioned previously, there will be a 10-foot extension. So the total height of the tower with the extension will be 94 feet and 2 inch. And the antenna will also increase the width by approximately 6 feet. Here's a photo sim of the.
Go ahead. I'll ask the question after. Go ahead.
Here's a photo sim of the existing tower on the left side, and then the right side is what's being proposed. So as you can see, the right side, when it was installed, it does create a higher height and also a bigger width for the tower. As for CEQA and noticing, staff had determined that the project is categorical exempt pursuant to Section 15301, Class 1, existing facility. The proposed change is within the 20 feet threshold for substantial change as defined in Chapter 157 of the City Code and also by the FCC. Public hearing notice was posted on City Hall, Town Center Hall, and Library, and mailed out to property owner within 500 feet on February 27, 2025, and was also published in Los Cerritos Community newspaper on February 28, 2025. For key consideration, staff found that the proposed wireless telecommunication facility is consistent with both the existing zone and the land use destination. And the location and the overall design are compatible with the surrounding industrial use. And the proposed equipment upgrade will enable AT&T to enhance the service quality, increase the capacity, and improve data service for the surrounding community. So for your recommendation, staff recommend that to determine the project is categorical exempt pursuant to section 15001, class 1, existing facility of the CEQA guideline, and also approve conditional use permit, case number 852, subject to the conditional approval as stated within the resolution 283-2025, Exhibit A, and also adopt resolution number 283-2025, which incorporate the Planning Commission finding and action regarding this matter. And that concludes my staff presentation.
Thank you. Does any commissioner have any questions or for the applicant or comments for the applicant? No? We will now open up public comment for this item. Planning Commission Secretary, do we receive any public cards or written comments for this item?
None.
Okay. If there's no objectives by the members I will close public comments and hearing on item number 6. This is the time to deliberate. Commissioners, do you have any questions? I have 2 questions. Can you go back to the picture of the extension? So it's going, total height is 94 to, what's the average height of a cell tower for, that we allow? Do we have I know we have it for our billboards and things to that nature. Do we have one for this?
Wireless has its own section. We don't really have a maximum height. Most of we do require to set back a 1-to-1 ratio for any new wireless site. However, since this is existing, they are allowed to increase it by 20 feet without be considered as a substantial change.
What's the closest building or anything around it?
Let's see.
So if it falls, would it fall on a building?
So the closest building is the existing, the office on the south side. That's part of the
railroad.
The railroad, yeah.
So that would be their own liability.
Pretty much, yeah. Unless it fall, I guess, across the street.
What is going to be the difference in radiation frequencies from the previous tower to this new tower?
So this tower is only for radio use, only for the railroad. So it's not a existing wireless site. So this would just be, they call it co-location, but it's only one carrier, because the existing tower is just for the radio use for the railroad.
So they're basically grandfathered in because of the height.
Yeah, that's correct.
Anybody else? No? Okay. If there's no objective or members, can I get is there no further communication, questions, or comments? We'll now close public hearing at 6:25 p.m. May I have a motion to approve CUP case number 852, adopt resolution number 283-2025, which incorporates the Planning Commission findings and actions regarding this matter? Can I get a first?
I'll move.
Second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Planning Commission Secretary, can we please conduct the roll call vote?
Commissioner Flores,
Aye.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Ayala,
Aye.
Vice Chair Jimenez,
Aye.
Chair Sarno,
Aye.
passes 5-0.
So ordered. The 14-day appeal period for anyone wishing to appeal this matter. Next, staff communications on items and community interest. Does the staff have any announcements?
No announcements this meeting.
Commissioners, does any commissioners have something to report on? None? All right, then this meeting is adjourned at 6:25 PM. The next meeting in the Plan Commission is set for April 14th, 2025, 6 PM. Have a good night.